Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 19, Text 19, Translation and Commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Mang vachobhi samaradhya lokanam ekamishvaram padatrayang vrinito yo buddhiman dvipadashusha. Mam, me, vachobhi, by sweet words, samaradhya, after sufficiently pleasing, lokanam, of all the planets in this universe, ekam, the one and only, ishvaram, master, controller, padatrayam, 3 feet, runite, is asking for, yaha, he who, abuddhiman, not very intelligent, dvipadashu sham, because I can give you an entire island. Translation, I am able, this is Bali Maharaj speaking to Vamanadev, I am able to give you an entire island because I am the proprietor of the 3 divisions of the universe. You have come to take something from me and have pleased me by your sweet words, but you are asking only 3 paces of land. Therefore you are not very intelligent. Purport, according to Vedic understanding, the entire universe is regarded as an ocean of space. In that ocean there are innumerable planets, and each planet is called a dvipa, or island. When approached by Lord Vamanadev, Bali Maharaj was actually in possession of all the dvipas, or islands in space. Bali Maharaj was very pleased to see the features of Vamanadev and was ready to give him as much land as he could ask for. But because Lord Vamanadev asked only 3 paces of land, Bali Maharaj considered him not very intelligent. Yeah, Bali Maharaj is very intelligent. He couldn't be the Lord of the universe unless he was very intelligent. He couldn't have conquered all the heavenly worlds, the whole universe. Sometimes people make jokes about the present president of the United States of America, thinking that he's not very intelligent. Well, maybe in some ways, but he's intelligent enough that he got himself into that post. And despite all prognostications, he's seen out his office 4 years. And like anyone in that position, he is no doubt somewhat puffed up. Anyone who's in charge of something, big position, very famous, and in that way can definitely be said to be unintelligent. Bali Maharaj directly tells Vamanadev, you don't seem to be very intelligent. Why is that? Why? Bali Maharaj says, you have worshipped me, samaradhya, you've worshipped me, this aradhana means worship, with your words. And it's very fitting that you have worshipped me because I am lokanam ekamishvaram. I am the only one and only controller of all the worlds. Previously, Bali Maharaj was the controller of the lower worlds and Indra was the controller of the upper worlds, but now Bali is the controller of everything. So he thought. The real lokanam ekamishvaram was standing right before him, begging for 3 paces of land. But Bali Maharaj was in the illusion which Vamanadev had come to relieve him of. It was in the illusion of himself being the controller. And he thought himself very intelligent. Actually, what was going on was a clash of world views. Speaking as a materialist, Bali Maharaj thought, well, if anyone wants something from me, it must be something material. I've got everything. I've got everything in the universe. Someone comes to beg, what do they beg for? They beg for gold, land, property, all these different kinds of things. And this dwarf has come also to beg such a thing, but he only wants 3 steps. He only wants 3 steps of land. Vamanadev's outlook, his whole outlook was different. His outlook was, well, I'm a brahmana, I shouldn't have too much. And I just need enough so that I can live in this world and prosecute my Brahma Vidya, my spiritual knowledge, my spiritual activities. So it was a clash of worldviews. Although Bali Maharaj was maybe, aptly speaking, fittingly speaking, in saying that, well, you need a little more, because 3 steps of land by your own measurement, it's really nothing. You can just lie down in it, just about. You need a little more land than that. But Bali Maharaj wasn't thinking like that. He was thinking, take a whole island, take one dweepa in space. I can give you so much. But Vamanan didn't want that, because he knows, and it's a big entanglement. We know the story of the reading the Bhagavad Gita. The disciple came to the guru who instructed him, your only duty is to read Bhagavad Gita. So I thought, okay, I don't have anything else to do. I'll go and live in a cave or live in some little hut somewhere and read Bhagavad Gita. That's all I have to do. So I don't need anything. I'll just beg something here and there. And I can live and read Bhagavad Gita. That's what I have to do. But unfortunately, apart from reading Bhagavad Gita, he had his bodily duties, such as going to fetch water, going to pass water, and so on. And when he was away, a little mouse would come and nibble at his Bhagavad Gita parchment. And so he thought what to do. Okay, I'll get a cat. So he got a cat. And the cat wanted milk. Meow, meow, meow. So he got a cow. Then he had to bring grass for the cow, milk the cow. The cow doesn't take holidays. Cow needs attention all day, every day, pretty much. So then what to do? Then I need a wife to look after. I need someone to look after the cow. So I don't have any money to employ, so I'll get a wife. And then I got a wife, and then the wife says, I don't want to live in this little hut. I need a palace. So he got a palace. And then so much entanglement with servants and so on, overseeing his material affairs, and then he hardly had time left to study Bhagavad Gita. One time his guru came to see him and said, what's going on? I just told you to read Bhagavad Gita. What's all this getting a big palace and so on, a wife, children, cows? Well, it's just a natural result of reading Bhagavad Gita. It's all for the sake of reading Bhagavad Gita. So this story teaches us to live minimally if we want to make spiritual advancement. But Bali Maharaj's idea wasn't to make spiritual advancement. So it was a case of a completely different outlook and understanding. Bali Maharaj thought that Vamana was unintelligent. And it seemed just completely obvious to him. He didn't say that you only want 3 steps of land. Could you please explain why? It's just, you come to get land from me, then you want a lot, right? You don't want a little, because I want a lot, so everyone must want a lot. Atmavan manyate jagat. Everyone thinks that everyone should think like me. And thus there are misunderstandings and altercations and fights and wars. Often wars and fights are over the kind of thing that Bali had fought with Indra about, fighting for land. But then there may be over ideological issues also. As our atheistic friends never tire of pointing out, religion has caused so much problem in the world, because people think that I have to fight for my religion. We need a crusade to go and free the Holy Land from the infidels, for instance. Or the great British Empire. They're going all over the world to bring the gifts of Christianity to the heathens, just like the heathens here in Kerala. They need Christianity. Oh, actually, many of them are Christians, aren't they? But that was the British idea, that, or at least it was the justification, the supposed justification would bring civilization and Christianity and making these heathens who worship idols into followers of the real religion. So it's an ideological difference. And we see even in our International Society for Krishna Consciousness, for instance, there are so many controversies. One of them, ongoing, the discussion about female Diksha Gurus, Vaishnavi Diksha Guru, whatever you want to call it. Even what you call a controversy, there's a controversy of what to call a controversy. Because there's a different outlook on understanding of what our movement should be doing and what is the modus operandi of our movement and what are the underlying principles of our movement. And that's a major cause of dissension in the world. And we know the story of the frog in the well. He thinks that, well, I know everything. I know everything about the well, and the well, there's nothing else but the well. And he can't imagine anything beyond it. So we're all in different wells. There's the Christian well, and the Hindu well, and the atheist well, and we don't see beyond that. And we all think, yeah, I'm right. I must be right. They're croaking from one well to another. I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. So Vamanadev actually was Lokanam Ekam Ishvaram. He was actually correct, but Bali was wrong in all respects. Neither was he the proprietor of all the worlds. Neither was his idea of having material opulence correct. And neither was he, and because of that, it wasn't he who was unintelligent, it was Vamanadev. It was he who was unintelligent and Vamanadev who was intelligent. But Bali was so convinced, I'm right, his guru was there, and he shouldn't have instructed a Brahmana. Even a Brahmana boy is worshipable. Even Manu states that even a young Brahmana, an elderly Kshatriya, should bow down to him. But Bali overstepping etiquette and being puffed up, thinking that I know better, he shouldn't have instructed Vamana. And especially Bali was in the presence of his own guru. Actually, the guru of all the worlds was Vamana, but he hadn't revealed that yet. So he could have asked his guru, or should have, by etiquette, should have said, you're a Brahmana, you're an elderly, respected, most senior Brahmana, you speak to this young boy, tell him. But Bali didn't see the need for that. He thought that it's obvious. I don't have to ask my guru about this. It's obvious because the guru himself helped me to get all this land. It's by his blessings that I'm in possession of this land, and so he obviously agrees with this. And so in this way there was some back and forth. Bali was saying, no, take more, and Vamana was saying, no, take more, no. And then Bali, being a good host, reluctantly agreed to give Vamana what he wanted. Reluctantly, because he thought, well, then he'll be back again asking, and it won't look good for me. If a Brahmana comes and said, oh, I went all the way all the way to Bali's yagya. And I begged something from, oh, what did you get? 3 steps of land, by my own measurement. And they, what? What kind of a miser is that Bali? He should have given you more. So Bali was also concerned about his reputation. He didn't know that Vamana didn't even want 3 steps of land from him, because Vamana already everything belonged to him. To Vamana. So he was enacting this pastime to have a little fun, as Srila Prabhupada mentions in this section. Because after all, Bali is his devotee. The grandson of Prahlad, dear grandson of Prahlad, who has instructed Bali. But Bali he's got one ear for Prahlad and one ear for his demoniac associates, and he thinks, well, I have to do my duty as the king of the demons, and what do we do as demons? We attack the devatas. So Vamana wanted to relieve Bali. He wanted to take away from him not 3 steps of land exactly, and not even the whole universe. He wanted to take away from him his foolishness in thinking that I am lokanam ekam ishvaram. And Vamana didn't really come to take anything from him, but Vamana wanted to give himself to Bali. Oh, one thing he wanted from Bali, as lokanam ekam ishvaram, the one and only controller of all the worlds. Vamana Dev, he didn't want the worlds from Bali. Bali was very proud of being the king of the whole universe. You can imagine how proud he was. But for Vamana, it's just like someone saying, this is my mustard seed. You see, I'm in control of this mustard seed. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have the description that all the material universes, they're like a huge number of mustard seeds in a big sack of mustard seeds. So if someone has one mustard seed and they say, I am the only proprietor of this mustard seed, and it doesn't even belong to him, even more. It's so foolish to think I'm so great because I'm in charge of one mustard seed, and even more so if it doesn't actually belong to you. So Vamanadev wanted to relieve Bali of his foolishness, but there was one thing he wanted to take from him. Bali thought he was the ruler of the worlds, Vamana was the actual ruler of the world, and Vamana was the actual ruler of all the worlds. But because Vamanadev gives to every living being minute independence, and Bali was using his independence in a manner which was not pleasing to Vamanadev. Vamanadev wanted from Bali his heart, his love. He could have fought. Vamanadev could have fought with Bali Maharaj, but for various reasons he'd vowed not to do so with the descendants of Prahlad, and that went down to Banasura also, not to kill any. But if he'd fought and conquered Bali, another reason, if he had fought and conquered Bali, then he wouldn't have won his heart. He wanted to get his heart. And he's saying, well, how would he get his heart? By cheating him, tying him up, insulting him, humiliating him. He has his ways. Krishna has his ways. We can't understand what are his ways. Why does he leave the rasa dance? Why does he leave Vrindavan? Why does he put us in this material world in the first place? Does he put us, or we put ourselves? It's very difficult to understand the psychology of anyone, even of a cow, to understand the psychology. Animals are more complex than we think. Even of a chicken, to understand. Every chicken is an individual, believe it or not. So to understand the psychology of God, it's also very difficult for us to understand the psychology of God, because we are in our own little well. We don't realize how vast He is, how vast is His intelligence, how vast is His mercy. And also because we're in the well of our materialistic outlook. We expect that everyone wants to exploit others, as we do. And so we blame Krishna. There are so many people who blame Krishna. They say, you see, he's lusty, he steals the gopis' clothes, he induced the faultless, righteous Yudhishthira to tell a lie. They'll find a fault in Krishna, because they presume him to be on the same level as themselves. And that was Bali Maharaj also thinking that Vamana is just another human being. He was wrong. He found out soon enough. We shall find out soon enough if we continue reading through this beautiful Bhagavatam, and we'll find in the upcoming narration how Bali found out that this Vamana is not ordinary by any means. He is extraordinary by any means, by every means. And in a most extraordinary manner, he gave extraordinary mercy to Bali, who himself was an extraordinary personality, and made Bali truly great. Bali, there are so many kings who conquer and are forgotten. But Bali is remembered forever as one of the 12 Mahajanas, great personalities in devotional service. So Vaman, he's coming to Bali. So you want to be great? Okay, I'll make you great. But not in the way you think is great, because there isn't great. Really great is to be Krishna's devotee. Kirti Garna Madde Kaha Boro Kirti. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Rai, what is the real fame? To be a devotee of Krishna, that is real fame. But we're not interested. Those of us who are fortunate enough to be on the path of Krishna, we're not looking for fame. We're looking for Krishna. And Krishna may make his devotee famous, even though he avoids it, like Madhavendra Puri, after the pujari in the temple of Gopinath brought the kheer that Gopinath had stolen for Madhavendra. So the pujari came out at night calling, where's Madhavendra? So fortunate Madhavendra, where are you? You're so fortunate that the Supreme Lord has stolen some kheer or hidden it just for you. So Madhavendra took that, and realizing that he would become famous, that the word would go around and everyone would want to come and see him and worship him, and he didn't want that. He just wanted to serve Krishna without all this la-di-da, all this dhum-dham, all this big show of pomp and all this. So he quickly left the same night and hastened toward Puri, because his service was there in Puri. But the fame went ahead of him. So if Krishna wants to make someone famous, he'll make them famous. If not, then we can become famous materially. So many famous people have come and gone. There must have been here in this part of Bharata Desh of India, which is now designated as being part of the state of Kerala. Probably previously it was under the Mysore kings. I don't know exactly. At some point it must have been under the Raja of Mysuru. Do you know? Was it? He doesn't know. See, you can't see. He's from the present state of Karnataka, in which Mysore is the third biggest city, I think, is it? Hubli Dharwar is number 2. Is it?
First, Bangalore.
Bangalore, obviously.
Then Mangalore.
Mangalore is number 2. Then Mysuru, number 3. And Hubli Dharwar, 4. Nowhere. If you take anyway. So you don't know. From Udupi area, who was the Raja there at the time of the British? Don't know. At that time must have been very famous. Now is not known. All forgotten. But Madhavendra Puri is remembered. Bali Maharaj is remembered. So, not interested in fame, but if Krishna wants to give, he'll give, because he wants to glorify his devotees. And devotees' only business is to glorify Krishna. So Bali Maharaj will glorify Krishna by giving everything to him, and thus his name is famous. Bali. Bali means a sacrifice, animal sacrifice. So he was the animal in the sacrifice. He gave himself fully, and has thus achieved eternal fame. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha, kripa sindhubhya evacha, patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnava.